Hey, everybody, it's SAMP&CHANCE Wrestling. It is the eve of SummerSlam. Here we go, guys. The biggest show of the summer is upon us. We're going to break down the card, give you our predictions. Also, Shane McMahon to AEW. That's making the headlines these days. All this and so much more on this episode of SAMP&CHANCE. So strap in and thank you for letting us into your ears. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of SAMP&CHANCE Wrestling. We're a few days behind, but that's okay because we wanted to make sure we had everything you needed to know about SummerSlam happening this weekend. We have 7 matches. We're going to break it down. But before any of that, Mr. Chance Michaels, how are you, my friend?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Can't complain, brother, man. It is Friday. It's been a busy Friday, but you know what? We're grinding through. We're making it happen, and
Yeah,
that's the only way shit gets done, bro.
exactly. We're ready to do it. Let's have a good show, and away we go.
Let's go. Let's do it. All right. You know what? Let's talk about AEW first. How about that?
Yeah,
Dynamite. Interesting. You know what I liked about Dynamite? The interactions between Osprey and MJF are just absolutely phenomenal. I'm enjoying the promos that these two guys are cutting. The other thing I've noticed is that international title seems to have more weight now than their own world championship. Do you feel that? Or is it just
yeah.
me?
The WWE has the same problem with that. They're kind of undervaluing their heavyweight championships, and other belts are taking more precedent. I'm not sure why that is, but you're absolutely right on that. Yeah, MJF and Osprey, they got good chemistry so far. MJF, obviously, Will Osprey is a better athlete than MJF. MJF is better on the mic. So if you watch that first match, Will pushed MJ to wrestle harder, wrestle better, do more. MJF is pushing Will because he's not very good on the mic, but he wasn't doing bad to up his game, his mic game. So it's kind of a good chemistry here. They both can help each other in the departments that they're lacking in so
No,
far.
100%. And they're kind of, working, like you said, they're working off each other, they're feeding off each
Mm-hmm.
other, which is making those connections work so well, right? Not
The
a
only
bad,
one
not,
problem they have, how do they top that last match? Because most of the experts are saying that is one of the best matches of the year. It's not one of the best matches of all time. That's a little extreme, but it's
yeah.
probably the best match on TV all year by far. I mean, nothing in
Well,
WWE touches that. So we'll see how do they up the ante and outdo themselves for that match at Wembley. If
I
anybody
think,
can do it, it's those two guys.
I think the match will probably be at the same level as it was on Dynamite. The difference maker here is going to be the crowd. Osprey's at home, Wembley Stadium, 80,000 people. They're the ones that are going to make the difference in the way we see this rematch, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're kind of going to count on anyways. Speaking of MJF, Dr. Britt Baker, I don't know if you read this or saw this. She's actually being suspended for 2 weeks after having a backstage altercation with MJF.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, like I don't know what the details or anything, but it looks like they're making an example of her to show that we're not tolerating this kind of stuff anymore. So she's now
Good.
suspended for 2 weeks. Kind of interesting though, man. Like I thought AEW was past all of this kind of stuff, man. This is where I think, and a nice little segue, I think maybe for us, Shane O'Mac to AEW, man.
Yeah, but Shane O'Mac's not disciplinary. He's like a Triple H. He's the goofy guy. He doesn't command that kind of respect. Is he talented in the ring? Sure. But as far as backstage keeping law and order, he couldn't even carry his dad's bags for that. So that won't make a difference. But the only difference is here, what I'm trying to say is Tony Khan, he's just a big wrestling fan whose dad has money. He's playing Booker. This is fantasy world for him. It's like taking my 8-year-old son to Disneyland and letting him build rides. This is exactly what he's doing here. So nobody respects the guy as far as an authority figure. Nice guy. He's a great guy. Not a mean bone in his body, but that's why the inmates are in the asylum at AEW. Until he gets a disciplinarian back there, nobody has any fear. It's the problem. Good for him for spending
January,
for 2 weeks, though. I appreciate him doing that. He needs to do something. So
yeah, yeah,
give him
yeah.
credit on that.
Yeah, no, fair play, fair play. January 2025, man, who knows what can happen
Why
after.
why even keep Dr. Britt Baker there? Just get rid of her. Send a real message. Nobody even knows who that is. What's the point?
Well,
Get
I
rid of
mean,
her. Besides the 700,000 people that watch AEW, then nobody knows who that is. Fire her. Send a message. You're next if you try that. That'll tone it down a little bit. That sounds a big message, right?
I
What
guess
I
so,
would do.
but I mean, if the time of firing has passed, you know what I mean, when they should have done stuff. Like, I think some of the heat that they're taking off of this is like, she's the real scapegoat. Now, this is what I'm reading in comments and stuff like that, right? Like in terms of the other stuff that kind of happened, and now they're using that for storylines and stuff. So, in a way, I understand it completely. And yeah, you need to figure this out, but it's almost a little bit contradictory too.
Yeah. The only one thing I'd say, Tony Khan, you are a great guy. You are a nice guy. But until you realize Jungle Boy and the Young Bucks aren't tough guys, they're not bad guys. They can't play the role of Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Hulk Hogan. You need to understand that, dude. They're just the three nerds that look like geeks. Get them out of that spot, because the Elite is not a cool crew. It's not a badass crew. He doesn't understand that stuff.
You know what?
He
Like
doesn't
I said,
understand it. It's crazy. Like when you look at Luke Perry, or sorry, Luke Perry, Jack Perry, Jungle Boy. There, it's like I don't know. I don't get it. Basically, be nice about it.
yeah, no, fair enough, man. I think our mothers taught us if we have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all, right?
I will say, he does have some good ideas sometimes, but he just needs more help.
He needs
Smarter
a
people
lot.
in better places.
He needs a lot of help, but I think a lot of guys don't want to be there. Like, I mean, you look at all the veterans that he brought in, most of them are leaving again. They don't want to be around. It's just because it's just like a lot of what they're saying. And this goes back to Daniel Bryan and William Regal taking time out of their schedules, their days to have these open training sessions with these young independent talent, as you always say, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, what better learning tree to be under provided to you? And you don't want to take those opportunities. That's why a lot of these veteran guys that could probably, do something more or be something more and are just kind of like, I don't know, is it a generational thing? I don't know, bro.
It's a generational thing, and he should make it mandatory. You gotta go for an hour and listen to William Regal talk. That's part of being here. Go do it. You have no choice. You make it optional. So it's like, no, I'm not gonna go. So that's the problem with a guy like that. You say no, you're required once a month to go listen to Regal talk for an hour. You don't like it, you're out. And
Yeah.
people will start listening, but he doesn't have that extra gear in him, right? He's just too nice of a guy.
No, fair play, man. Fair play, man. But you know what? Sometimes you need to stir the pot. You need to stir the cup. I mean, if you don't stir your coffee, you won't get the milk and sugar mixed in, right? So, it's just going to be a bitter mess until the end, and then you just got all the sugar.
I'll give him credit. Probably so far this year, the best match that I've seen on TV so far is MJF, Ospreay, and then those Daniel Bryan matches he was having on Dynamite. It's better than anything WWE's done on TV. Not talking pay-per-views, on TV. The Raw and SmackDown matches don't even come close to some of those matches. So sometimes he does strike gold. Once, it's very rare. Once in a while he does.
No, fair enough, man. All right, I tell you what. I think we covered AEW. One thing I want to say before we move over to the WWE, I love the build up to this Wembley show. It reminds me of an old school style. This is back when WWE only had the 4 pay-per-views, and
Mm-hmm.
the build up from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania was legitimately 2.5, 3 months. This is that kind of build up here, man. Like the storylines and everything like that. Like I love the work that Tony Storm is doing. It's just I'm curious to see how they can keep the momentum going all the way to the end of August. Like they've been building this show for almost 2 months now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun to see that from the nostalgia point. I wanted to point that out. What do you think of it?
The thing with England fans, I mean, they don't get the big shows we get. So selling out Wembley is cool, but Wembley always sells out when you put on a big event. Let's be honest. For boxing and stuff, I get it. The hype, they're trying to make it like an old, like they're doing a good job of it. But when you go to these certain countries like that, AEW, WWE, they're going to get big numbers because they don't get the wrestling that we get here in North America all the time. It's a little more hungry for, crowds a little more loud, right?
I get that, but what I mean is like the actual build up itself of the card, like the way, like it's like a slow build, like
Yeah,
with
they're trying. Yeah,
WWE,
they're trying.
yeah, I'm enjoying that. I'm actually enjoying that.
Yeah.
It kind of, takes you back to the old school where you actually had to have a bit of an attention span to stay invested, right? So
Yeah,
it's a hard thing to do to keep people invested in a storyline where the payoff's like 2 months away,
especially
especially
young
today,
kids. Yeah,
right? It's sad. I'm glad they haven't fucked with baseball yet too much.
they will. They'll tinker with it as the older guys get older and fade out, and the younger guys come in. They'll keep tinkering.
Yeah, but I hope not too much, man. Soccer or football, in my opinion, and baseball are the two only pure sports left,
Yeah,
right? That's just the way I see that one, man. All right, let us move on to SummerSlam. You ready?
let's do it.
All right, man. Let's go. Where are we? Right here. All right. So SummerSlam, Cleveland, Ohio this year. It is coming to us from where the Cleveland Browns play. This is going to be an interesting show to say the least, man. I think a lot of people are expecting things to happen here. I almost don't want them to happen in the sense because you know what? That would be more of the surprise. We'll get into that, but let's get to the first match of the night. We don't know what the order is here. We're just calling it as it is. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as the special guest referee. This is an interesting one. This has been building for a while. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre have been working very close together in terms of the promos, the way they're building this story, all the way up to the photo that Drew took with Jack Perry, and posted to Twitter. It was all okayed and everything here. So I'm expecting a pretty good match here. I'm looking forward to this one. I know your views on Punk and everything like that. But I guess the question is how much is Seth Rollins going to play a role in this?
Well, Seth is, I mean, here's the thing so far. Under the new regime, we haven't seen any surprises. Basically, every match we call it how it happens. That can't be. That is not good wrestling. That's lazy booking by guys, wrestling marks stuck in their bubble. So hopefully that changes tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. How I see this playing out, it seems pretty obvious. Seth is going to screw over CM Punk, and they're going to go with that. And Drew gets to win, right? That's how it's going to happen here. Because these guys, this is probably the most laziest book I've ever seen in wrestling. This is how easy this is to predict. Let's hope I'm wrong and I have egg on my face and everything I say is wrong, because that would make for a good show. CM Punk's an old man. He's broken down. His body's beat down. He doesn't move that well anymore. His promos are okay. I don't know how his body's going to hold up tomorrow. Drew hits hard. Drew works stiff. He's strong. He's big. He's fast. So CM Punk is going to have to up his game. Can his body handle? He's an old man. He's an old man. I don't know how his knee is, how his back is, whatever injury he has. Hopefully it's a good match. I don't think it should be too long of a match. But my prediction here, Drew wins, Seth screws CM Punk, and then that Drew and CM Punk feud ends, and we carry on with Seth and Punk, because they do have some real heat from before. But we'll see. It should be a good match, though. If Punk's body holds up, it could be a good match.
Okay,
That's how I see it. How do you see it?
You know what? I'm gonna go the other way, but the middle is exactly the same. I think CM Punk gets the win here just to get the ire of Drew going even deeper and deeper, making this more, because really, if you think about it, CM Punk and Seth go off into their own story after this. Where does this leave Drew, right? Until Drew has something else to fall back on, because after this Punk thing, he's got nothing.
Oh, he's gonna go. I think he's gonna go against the winner of you can go against winner Priest or Gunther or something like that.
Could, but he already had a chance there, right? That's going to take time to build up as well. And with John Cena coming back into the fold here, I have a feeling that Drew might be one of those odd guys out in this situation, right? So I think, in my opinion, the way I'm looking at it, the middle is fine. You're right there with what Seth is going to do. I just think it's going to be the other way because it's Punk's first real match since he's come back, right? And he gets his bracelet back. That kind of builds everything up everywhere else. And yeah, I think that's the way it's going to play out, just to keep everything going until we can see where Drew's going to land and where he's going to end up. Otherwise, he falls down, man. He falls down fast because he's focused everything from before WrestleMania to now through WrestleMania. It's just too much to give up after one night. I think there's more to be told here. So I'm going Punk.
I see a complete opposite. I see Punk screws Drew, Seth screws Punk, Drew wins. Let's find out.
I say Seth screws Drew, and Punk finds out. Right. Intercontinental Championship match: Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker, Part 2. Braun Breaker. I think he's just going to destroy him this time. And the way they've been telling the story, it's almost like they listen.
But he can't destroy him, though. This is the problem. This is the thing here, because they've let Sami Zayn, who I don't even know if he could even pick up a milk jug. That's how frail and pale and weak he looks. He beat Gunther clean and he beat Braun clean. So how can you have Braun all of a sudden destroy a guy who he's lost with? He's not going to destroy him. Braun will win. It's too obvious, but he won't destroy him. It'll be a close match. He'll spear him and stuff, but he's not going to destroy him because Sammy's beat him twice. So it would be too. Well, wrestling is not real, but it'd be too nonsensical to have him destroy him in 30 seconds because he's already beat him. So it wouldn't make sense. But Braun wins.
Braun wins, but this is why I'm saying it. If you listen to some of the promos and stuff that Braun's been saying in the ring, outside, whatever the case may be, I took you lightly. You know what I mean? Like the emphasis that was there. Like, because everyone said, like, what's taking you so long to beat this guy? Like, why aren't you just doing it? Like you said, it should have been done at the last show, right?
Yeah.
But 1 minute. This is the thing. So, but this is that build up now. Like, hey, I didn't take you seriously. Now you're thinking about your career as a comedy guy. whatever the case may be for him. So this is why I think he's going to destroy him. It's not going to be like a complete whitewash, but it's going to be like 90% whitewash, in my opinion.
Nah, I see
I
it
could be wrong.
60-40. They
Okay,
love
let's
Sami
see.
Zayn, dude. They love him.
Yeah,
And here's the thing: as much as I knock him for looking like a homeless guy, looking like a slob, coming with the hair wet, a
yeah.
greasy beard, dirty cargo pants, he's pale, he's got no muscle. He's a hell of a comedian. That's what he is. He's a good entertainer. He just is not a superstar like you would think.
Well,
That's just the reality of it. He's not.
it,
I'm
it,
sure he's a
it
great
completely
guy. I'm just talking
it
about him professionally.
no, for sure. It completely ties into to what LA Knight and did you ever listen to that, by the way? LA
No,
Knight
I listen
and
to that one. Yeah. No.
okay, so it totally ties into that. Like if you think about it, there's only maybe one, two, three, I'll say five guys that can pull that off, right? Sammy and Kevin are two of those guys that, don't have to be the body guy or anything like that, but can get by on their charismas and stuff like
Well, I
the
don't think Kevin has
Dusty.
much charisma. I don't understand that guy
Well,
personally.
I mean,
Sammy does.
people love him. People
Yeah.
like him,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. He's
So
a heart. Yeah,
so
He's
you
always been
know,
an indie darling. Yeah.
so I mean, for that fact, it is what it is. But yeah, okay, we're both in
We
agreement,
both
bro.
agree, Braun. We say it differently. I say Braun beats him. It won't be a
Yeah.
squash. You think it might? We'll see.
Well, I think we got to find something there, right? We both know Braun. It's just how is he going to get beaten? So
Mm,
we'll see if he gets squashed or if it's a 60-40.
yeah.
All right, let's move on. United States Championship match: Logan Paul versus LA Knight. I'm expecting a really good match from both
Oh,
these guys,
I'm
man.
looking forward to this match the most.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fun match. I don't think anything in particular. I think honestly, you're going to get a good match with the regular formula of Logan Paul. It's going to be back and forth. You sell, you take back and forth, but that brass knuckles part's always going to be there, and I think that's what's going to cost him this time.
It's funny. He probably. I don't understand. This is what I don't understand about this new regime. The guy, he's had professional boxing fights. He probably hits harder than anybody on that roster, right? And he doesn't need brass knuckles. I understand it plays into the heel a little, but he doesn't. He hits so hard. You don't need to give him brass knuckles. His right hand hits hard enough. So I don't understand that. It's going to be a good match. He's one of the best athletes on
I
the whole
think
roster.
it's because it's to put him over as more of a heel,
Give
right?
him something else, but he
Well,
hits so
no,
hard. These guys, if
I
you
get it.
watch these guys wrestlers punch, they're so pathetically weak,
Yeah,
most of them, and it's just like
no,
he
I
doesn't
get
need
it.
knuckles.
But he's an amazing heel. Like I said before we
Oh
came on,
yeah, absolutely.
I was watching a bit of SmackDown, which is on right now, and he was getting booed out of Cleveland. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Great
I think
heel work.
Eric Bischoff, I think, said it best. He's a better heel and a better athlete than I think he said 98% of the roster. I totally agree with him on that. It's not even close.
Yeah.
It'll be a good match. It doesn't really matter who wins this one. Either way, it won't hurt either one of them. I think LA Knight probably takes it off him. Logan doesn't really need the belt. He's that talented. He's a
Yeah.
superstar,
Yeah.
successful businessman,
Yeah.
the biggest star on the roster, actually. So
That's debatable, but okay.
well, who's
Okay.
bigger star
So,
than Logan?
pardon?
Who's a bigger star than Logan on the roster?
Probably Cody.
No way.
Probably Roman.
No.
No,
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 maybe
no,
in the
no.
wrestling. I'm talking star or worldwide. Well, Logan's
Okay,
way
well,
more than
there's not
Logan.
many guys out there outside of The Rock right now that's on the roster technically,
That's what I'm saying. So on this
right?
roster right now today, Logan's the biggest star.
I guess so, but it's more so for his stuff that he does outside the ring,
It
right?
doesn't
It's not
matter. Whatever he does, he's the biggest star they got. Cody ain't selling millions of drinks. He's not.
all
He's
right.
not a sponsor of UFC.
Fair
So
play,
Logan's
man.
the biggest star.
I get it from a different perspective, sure. Okay,
But no,
so
hold on. Who's the bigger star that has more media followers than Logan
no,
Paul?
no, but
WWE.
it's a completely different thing. All I'm saying, if you're just basing it on wrestling and wrestlers,
I'm just
in
saying
that
biggest
sense,
star on the roster is
right?
Logan Paul.
And that would be Logan Paul, yes, but
Yeah. Well,
I
that's what
would
I'm
not
saying.
disagree.
So that's what I'm saying. That's how talented this guy is.
Yeah. So okay, I'm saying LA Knight then probably just because he needs it more.
Yeah, LA Knight's an old man. I want Logan to win, but yeah, LA gets it.
All right.
I agree with that.
Women's Championship, WWE Women's Championship, Bailey versus Nia Jax. Who do you got here, buddy?
I can't stand Bailey. Her work, her promo, she's old, she's slow. I hope Nia Jax takes it. You just give it to somebody. Like, she's so big, she's so strong. Let her have it. Let her push them. Let a champion who's big have the belt for once. All the little people are having the belt. Nothing against that. I hope Nia Jax takes it. In
All
saying
right.
that, I'll probably give it to Bailey. What do you got?
Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah,
I think she cashes in on Nia. Nia wins, and Tiffany cashes in on her.
could be.
That's why I kind of see it playing out. And if not there, then at some point down the road she'll cash it on her and turn on her,
Yeah,
right?
I just kind of hope they get rid of this Money in the Bank pay-per-view stuff and just kind of get rid of it. It's kind of old and tired. But you could be right.
I don't know. I mean, just for shits and giggles, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
throw something different out there.
I hope Nia Jax takes it, but you
I
could be
think that
right.
wins overall, but I think Tiffany walks out that night as women's champion. And which is a quick climb considering she just came in from NXT.
What I
I mean,
tell you, Triple H and Shawn are best buddies. NXT people get the big rubs. We'll
well,
see.
there's a lot of hype on that girl, generally speaking, even before
Mm-hmm.
this. So, all right, let's move on to the next women's world championship match. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. I'll make my prediction right here. I think Liv retains. Dom turns on Rhea, and off we go.
That Dom and Rio storyline is so cheesy. It's so bad. I've seen better acting in my high school drama class in 1998. They got to cut that storyline. It's so cheesy. The match itself will be good because they're both good athletes. Yeah, Rhea doesn't need it right now. She's such a good character on her own that Liv needs a belt more than Rhea. So for that fact, yeah, I see Liv. But Dom, you're right, will turn on Rhea. But let's get rid of this storyline. It's so cheesy. It's so bad acting. Dom is Dom is not very good at this. I'm not sure why he's the ladies now. All these ladies all of a sudden. The guy's what 150 pounds, can even
Well,
lift the
bro,
dumbbell, and he's all of a sudden he's
you're
Brad Pitt.
whenever I think of Dom, and they made reference of this on Monday night, like how come all these women are all over this guy? Like, he's nothing to look at. He reminded me of one of your good friends, the good doctor himself. I just wanted to
Yeah,
throw that out
but at
there,
least
right?
Doctor Love's got charisma and it can entertain you. Dom can't do anything.
I'm
If it
just
wasn't
saying,
for his dad, he wouldn't be on the roster.
all right, fair enough.
Hate to say it. I'm sure he's a great guy, but that's the reality of it.
World Heavyweight Championship match: Damian Priest versus Gunther. I'm actually looking forward to this. These guys have actually built a good story here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gunther has done an amazing part in promoting it. Damian's done the best he can, to be fair. But he's looking a lot better. Yeah, I have to say, just over the months that have passed, like he's
Getting
looking
better.
better. He's talking better. You see the confidence is a bit more there. Um, I want Damian to win. Um, I don't think, in my opinion, I think Damian should win, only for the fact I just don't think Gunther's ready yet.
I agree. I don't even know if Damian's ready yet. But out of the two, Damian should have never been champ. But he is more ready than Gunther. They're going to let Damian have the belt a little bit longer. I agree with you. Damian's going to win. Should be a good match. There's two big guys. They both can move. I mean, it should be a good match. But Damian's going to take it because you're right. Gunther's just not quite ready. He will be a champ soon, but it's not
Yeah.
quite yet.
The only
Really
way
young.
I can see Gunther winning this match again, and I'm gonna bring up John Cena because like we don't know what they're gonna do with him, right? There's a lot that's gonna happen now
Mm-hmm.
when he starts this last run of his to WrestleMania. What does that look like, right? At
Yeah.
what point does he, if he wins number 17, will he win it before WrestleMania and lose it at WrestleMania? You know what I mean? This is where my head's at. So if you want to put it on Gunther right now, this would be the best time because then he works in a program with John Cena. Cena loses it, or Gunther will lose it to him at Royal Rumble. That keeps it on Cena going into WrestleMania season to give him that build and have him lose it at WrestleMania to whoever it is at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. But I just think Gunther's not quite ready for that yet. But you
No,
never
no.
know with this new regime what they think. But I kind of got a good feeling that Damian's going to walk out as
I
champ.
mean, I hope so too. I want him to. I mean, that's why I'm kind of hoping for it. But I mean, I'm just trying to think where does John Cena fit in everything, right? So,
Yeah.
and just that would be a good way for him to win the title because Gunther is a real heel. Like, I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
Gina, Cena being that kind of superhero kind of, just like Mr. Hank behind you there with the American flag behind him, he's Americana.
Oh
And
yeah. Absolutely.
at this time with the election and everything else that's going to be coming up at that time, what better opponent for him to have?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do Cena and Gunther. I don't know who to put John Cena against. You could be right though. I don't know. I don't know
I
what they're
don't know
thinking.
either, but I mean, this is the way I would write the
They
pro.
better make it good though. This is the last one. They better make it special. That's all I got to
Yes,
say to that.
for sure, for sure. Okay, undisputed WWE Championship match: Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. I got to take a sip of water. What do you think?
Why? Why do we have to watch this? This isn't even. It doesn't feel like it is the main event, but it doesn't feel like the main event. I think the Drew and Punk match has got more heat than this. Damian Priest and Gunther, maybe not quite, but it's almost there. This Cody and Solo match, I don't know. This kind of threw it together. Maybe this is when Roman comes back. Maybe he screws Solo, and then he starts fighting the Bloodline. I don't know,
Well,
but
I mean, Roman's coming back eventually. Here's the thing: everyone expects it to be here at this show in some capacity, right? I think, like I said to you last week, it doesn't make any sense for him to come out to save Cody, considering that's the last time he was seen losing to Cody.
but it
So
might not be to save Cody. It might be just to screw Solo around because he's sick and tired of him taking his spot.
well,
Who knows?
but the other piece could be this, man, and this is like me thinking outside the box, right? Maybe this is why we should be the writers.
I
Let
wish.
Solo win.
Mhm.
Solo wins the strap. Out comes Roman.
The first thing I would do if I had the power of head writer is fire every writer in that room, get them all out of there, and restart. First thing I would do.
I read an article. They've actually hired some new writers from Hollywood. I don't know who they are. I didn't see the
Smart. I've
names,
been saying
but
that for a while. Smart.
yeah. So
Smart.
they are
Very
bringing in
smart.
people. It's going to take time. Anyone who comes in new, you got to give them at least a
Oh yeah,
couple
you
of
got to go.
months
We'll
to
see what
get
they can
used
do.
to it,
Maybe they'll
right?
do great. We'll find out.
Yeah. So okay. So this one's really confusing because everyone expecting Roman to come. I hope he doesn't show up here. I think that'd be
Yeah,
more of a surprise for me than him showing up now because it's almost anticipated,
it's too
right?
obvious. Yeah.
And how do you bring him out?
Maybe John Cena shows up tomorrow and does something.
Well, maybe Cena comes out too, but how does this work? You know what I mean? Because I mean, okay, Sammy losing the strap is needed for the next phase of everything to happen because he's going to be a part of that storyline when
Sammy is
Roman comes
great
back.
at chasing and being goofy and running around. He's
Exactly.
not great at holding belt.
So this is going to be great because we're going to get to see that kind of Sammy that you like,
Yeah,
right?
he's good. Hell of
So
an entertainer. I won't take that
right.
from him.
So he's going to come and you're going to get the Usos back together at some point because you think about it, man. Jimmy's been gone since the night after WrestleMania.
Yep, it's
So
good. Sometimes it's
he's
nice to have a break.
he's been gone just as long, if anything, than Roman
Mm.
has. So you got those guys. Heyman's been up for about a month now, almost, right? So he's ready. And then Jay, he's been around, but he's not really been involved in anything, if that makes any
Yeah,
sense, right? Like I keep waiting for him to show up and stand behind Cody on SmackDown, but it's not happening, which is great. I love it. After the show, everything builds up to Vancouver. Yes, I said that correctly, Mr. Michaels. Vancouver, we are getting Survivor Series here. So I'm looking forward to all of this, right? So a lot of the fallout that comes from this show is going to lead up to what we get here in our hometown. So, I mean, logically, it makes sense to let Cody win. I get that,
Cody's winning for sure, 100%.
right? But here's the thing, my friend. Before I went on the air with you, I actually was watching SmackDown. The rules are now officially Bloodline rules. So I don't know how that plays out. They have signed Piccolo.
All the Bloodline guys come down, then Orton will come down with Kevin Owens and all that.
Those
Crew.
guys are out, man. The storyline wise, unless they're going to
Yeah,
be ready to go in that time, I don't think they're going to be there, right? I mean,
we'll see.
the way this story's being told is they've destroyed any ally that he's had and kind
Yeah.
of left him alone. Now Cody's going to go into a Bloodline rules match again against Solo. And again, it's just the logical sense is, yeah, he wins, right? But I think it'd be more fun if Solo won, just for the hell of it. What the hell? I mean, there's no
It
time.
would be, but that's never going to happen.
Well, you never know, man. The fact that you're saying it that way, I mean, how else do you bring Roman out? Because
No, not with the new thinking. Not with the new thinking. Cody's the indie darling. They love this
well,
guy. He
no, but hear me
dictated
out.
the
If
WrestleMania match. They're not
if
going to let Solo
they're
have it.
if they're gonna bring out, just hear me out first. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm
Mm.
saying is how do you bring Roman out? Then if Cody wins, okay, and then the bloodline attacks Cody afterwards, it's like a 501 beatdown. It makes no sense in my mind for Roman to come out to save Cody. It doesn't.
Yeah, you could be right. So, but you may not see him tomorrow. You might be right on that, but the
Right?
Solo
Like
is not winning that.
if Roman's coming out, like I don't see any reason for him to come out otherwise.
Then he won't come out if that's the case. But Solo is not winning that belt.
All right,
Not
all right, all right. So we both think Cody's gonna win.
100%. The most
Okay,
sure match in the card is Cody wins.
okay, perfect. All right, man.
You got
That
to
is
remember, they love this guy, dude. They love the fans, love him.
yeah.
The new regime just loves Cody. Like they think he's the next coming to Hulk Hogan. So he's not taking the belt off this guy anytime soon.
Well, let's see how it plays out, man. SummerSlam is from Cleveland, Ohio. I don't know where the name of the Browns stadium is. I've always known it as just Cleveland Stadium. They're
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
be
not sure.
there. It's going to be a great show. It starts at 4 p.m. on the West Coast, guys. 7 p.m. start. They are slowly shifting back to the 4 p.m. starts, and they are slowly going to shift to the Sunday afternoon pay-per-view format again. The format that I grew up with, anyways, man.
The only
Uh,
problem with the Sunday format is when football's on, it kills the pay per view. That's one of the reasons Vince switched it. They don't want to compete with NFL on Sundays, and they're going to get crushed if they go up against NFL. The
yeah,
NFL gets 20 times the viewers.
well, I get that completely, man. But I mean, like you say, the new regime, right? I mean,
New
they're the
regime.
ones calling the
They're
shots.
trying, but they're going to learn some hard lessons that have already been learned. I don't
You
get
know
it,
what?
but
Maybe they have to learn it when everything is hot, so they can fix it and keep the momentum going, right? I
yeah,
mean, it is what it is. I mean, what can we do?
yeah.
Uh, I'm excited, man. It's going to be a hell of a day for combat sports. You got
I wouldn't say
UFC.
I'm too excited about SummerSlam. The card looks okay. I wouldn't say it's great. In saying that, maybe it's an amazing
Hey,
SummerSlam.
you know
Maybe it's the
what?
best SummerSlam we see. We'll find out.
I'm excited because it's SummerSlam. Regardless, it's just always a good time. And I'm just looking forward to it, man. Like I said, I mean, yeah, the card doesn't look amazing, but if you go back in history, a lot of the cards haven't looked amazing, and some amazing things have come out of it, right?
Yeah, but this is
So,
this that was a different time. Just from watching all the Raws and SmackDowns I watched for the show, and just I can't understand the booking. I can't understand the
well,
indie
I tell you
feel.
what, brother.
It makes it hard for me to get excited for it. I'll still watch it for the show and my kid, but to say
You
I'm
know what?
excited for SummerSlam would be a stretch. Of
I,
man, it'll be all right.
I'm the old school wrestling fan. I'm excited just for the namesake of the
I'm an
name.
old school wrestling fan, but they book now for new school wrestling fans. They're booking this new regime for indie guys. This is an indie show. They're trying to appeal a little bit, but this is all about Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes guys, and it's all about the little guys doing flips now. That's just the way they think. And until they get the wrestling guys out of the booking and writing, we're going to keep seeing it that way. So let's see what happens.
And I think that goes across the board of all wrestling, man.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
So
totally agree.
well, you know what, brother man, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I will say this. Like I said, for me, I just enjoy the fact that it's SummerSlam. I don't know why. It's kind of like the Olympics. It's kind of like, those are some of the things that I just look forward to, regardless, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I used to really look excited for SummerSlam. Now it's like,
well, I
yeah,
try. Let's try this, man. Go in with a positive outlook and
I
see.
do. I'm hoping it's going to be good. But I've been watching the Raws, like I said, some
Yeah.
of this acting is like high school acting. It's so bad.
I've seen better go home shows. I've seen what they're doing, but it's kind of weird. They're almost trying to change everything stylistically. Like for example, Gunther and Damian Priest. It's a go home show. I expect to see them fighting at the end of the show, really selling everything. But all these kind of pre-taped promos, and that's kind of like the build up they're giving us. I get what you're saying, right?
It almost seems to me watching the show that the guys that are writing the show and booking the show have no freaking clue what they're doing. They're giving these guys so much freedom to talk, and most of these guys can't talk. So it's
Yeah.
better if you have somebody help script them with the promos. At least it sounds good. When you give them so much freedom, some guys you can just let go off, like Rock, and certain guys that this is what you're going to do, and you don't mess with them. But you got guys like Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio on the mic; they're horrible. And you let them run it. It just makes it look so corny and cheesy. Unless you're a hardcore wrestling fan, which is out of North America, 2 million people, right? It's not much, right? It comes across as corny. A lot of the acting is so bad. That Don Rhea stuff is it's like a C-level movie half the time. It's too much. How
Yeah.
I see it.
Fair play, man. Fair play. All right, brother, man. I tell you what, let's wrap this up. It's Friday night. I got to get going here, doing some stuff. And yeah,
Yeah.
guys, it's the weekend. I've already said this once before, but I'll say it again. If you're going to go out there, have fun, do what you want to do, be happy,
Yeah.
drink, and be merry. But remember, find a safe way home. Be safe, not just to yourself, but to the people out there with you on the road. And most importantly, nobody wants to wake up to that phone call, and don't be the guy who made that happen,
Mm-hmm.
or girl. So on that note, be safe, enjoy the long weekend. I'm Bobby Sampson. He's Mr. Chance Michaels.
And in the words of the great ACDC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. And remember, do the things in your life that will change your life. Don't do things to justify or appease other people. Samp and Chance are out.